Hey, if you like some of my NBA discussions here, make sure to subscribe to my other channel, which is original NBA content, which I post every week about different NBA topics. And yeah, it's a new channel, so make sure to support it. And yeah, hope you enjoy. Hi, my name is Lyric, and today we are going to How is Dirk Nowitzki So Good? Offensive Legends, Episode 5. We've done this for Wilt Chamberlain, Reggie Miller, who else? Steve Nash. Who's the other one? Fuck, I already forgot. But yeah, so we're on to Dirk Nowitzki now. I'm trying to see who this other one was about because I forgot. But yeah, we're on to Dirk Nowitzki. We did the highlights for him. He's obviously, I'm a Dallas Mavericks fan. He's my favorite player of all time because he's fucking Dirk Nowitzki, you know. I don't really think I have to explain much there, because he's fucking Dirk Nowitzki and I'm a Mavericks fan. I don't have to explain he's my favorite. Allen Iverson was the one I'm forgetting. But yeah, so let's get into it. How is he so good? Why was he so good? Why I think he was so good? Because he was a 7-footer who could shoot in the 2000s and in the 2000s, yeah. I mean, he was the only one who could ever do that in that time. Like, really, he like pioneered the Wembanyama's and Embiid's and Jokic's after him. So yeah, let's get into it.
This is Game 1 of the 2011 Western Finals.
Greatest playoff run of all time.
Between the Mavs and the Thunder.
Greatest championship of all time.
Dallas took care of business in round 1, then stunned the two-time defending champion.
Yeah, swept the back-to-back
they
champions.
Trailed this one late in the second quarter.
People talk about how he beat Bron's ass that year, but they don't like to talk about how he beat Kobe's ass. No one likes to talk about that.
When Dirk goes to work, drawing a double team, kicking it out so the ball can find an open shooter.
Hey, JT, baby,
it's
the Jet.
4-on-4 in transition. Serge Ibaka sees the sharpshooter.
Are you watching this video and you haven't subscribed? What are you doing? You clearly like watching my videos at some level. If you like original NBA videos, go to my original NBA channel. Like this video to let you know that you specifically like these types of NBA videos. Subscribe to get daily NBA content and other types of reactions.
Shooting Jason.
Oh, and subscribe to the original content creator. Of course, all credit to the creator. Thinking Basketball, fantastic creator. Go watch his before you watch mine, or at least have it in, like, I don't know, another tab or something, you know, on mute, so he can at least get some money off of it. Come on now.
On the wing, and that's enough for Nowitzki to cut behind him for an old-fashioned three-point play.
Let's go, and one. Dirk Nowitzki
posts up Nick Collison, sets up the one-legged fade, and look at that soft touch.
Bounces in.
This game,
Dirk Nowitzki, baby.
Shot blocking Ibaka on Nowitzki, but he had little effect on the 7-foot German's crazy high.
Hell yeah, Bran.
So
Serge Ibaka can't do nothing on that.
Dirk came off this little screen. Ibaka panicked and fouled him on the jumper.
Yeah.
They sent Serge to the bench and tried Durant on him next with
hell nah, too skinny.
And it was more tic-tac-toe for another 3.
Yeah. That was good, you know, Dirk Nowitzki, good. They always try to double team him, man.
After a few possessions where
can't double team Dirk.
Nowitzki,
he can pass, man.
To him against Durant, who was too handsy, and it was more free throws.
Hell yeah, Dirk Nowitzki, amazing free throw shooter, by the way, like 90%. At the 7-footer is insane.
Specialist Thabo Cephalosha on Dirk.
Hell
nah.
nah.
He was so freaked out about his shot, it opened up the spin and a trip back to the line.
Yeah. Got every move in the arsenal, man. You can't stop all of it.
Gives up about 6 inches there, so OKC brings Kendrick Perkins to help near the rim, but that draws an erroneous 3-second call and gives Dirk another free throw at the charity stripe.
Yeah, man. You can't give Dirk these free throws, man.
Up and drops the little one-legger.
I fucking love this analysis of this game. I'm pretty sure I've seen this game before. Is this when he drops like over 40 points?
And when the Mavs break out in transition, Dirk's version of a layup is a wide-open 10-footer.
Yeah, that's a layup for Dirk.
11,
100% is.
To Nowitzki on the outside. This time OKC doubles on the spin, and we're
hell nah, get out an open Jason Kidd. Come on, now Jason Kidd could shoot at this time. Prime Jason Kidd couldn't shoot, but Jason Kidd, as he got older, you know, it got worse at everything else, but he got the shot down.
In just over a quarter of play, Dirk's
they used to call him Asen Kidd because he had no J. To be fair, they also called him Irk Nowitzki because he had no D, but it's alright.
31 of Dallas's 41 points to blow the game open.
That's insane.
Performance of a magical run toward the title.
That's an insane performance. 31 of the last 41 is crazy.
1 year, he finally put everything together. Or was Dirk good enough to be a championship centerpiece for that entire decade?
I think he was good enough. I think the Mavericks, because you really look at those Mavericks teams, people criticize them so, at least, well, they don't really do it now because they got the championship in 2011, but before that, people were talking shit about him because he wasn't winning championships. But, bro, look at the teammates he had, bro, compared to the other people. Like, he had good teammates, but, like, were they good enough to beat, like, the Spurs and Lakers when they were both good? You know, like, they weren't, were they good enough to beat the Tim Duncan, Tony Parker, Manu Ginobili Spurs, you know? You know, like, think about all the years, man. Early 2000s, you had the Lakers, Shaq and Kobe. Then you had Tim Duncan, well, 2003, Dirk got hurt. They actually had a decent shot at beating the Spurs that year, but Dirk got hurt. Then you got the Super Team Lakers 2004, Spurs 2005, the Mavericks make it 2006, get robbed in the finals by the refs. The Spurs 2007. Though that one, yeah, I'll give it to you because he lost in the fucking first round. That was embarrassing. Then at that point, the Lakers became good. Fucking Kobe and Pau Gasol, you know, it was an epic duo. They had it for 3 straight years, you know. But then as soon as they came away, Dirk was like, "I've had it with y'all." Beat up on Kobe and LeBron's ass. So yeah, I think Dirk, he was always a championship level player.
Was he really the best shooting big man in NBA history?
Hell yeah, he was.
And despite averaging,
I don't think that one's close.
3 assists per
Karl Anthony Towns.
game, at his peak, was he actually the best offensive player in the NBA?
Ooh, let's see, man. I mean, 50, 40, 90 is a 7-footer. I think he had a good case.
The first season of Greatest Peaks was about the best of the best. But this time we're looking at trendsetters, unique archetypes, and even controversial players who make up the legends of NBA offense.
Let's go, Dirk Nowitzki, the German Jesus.
I remember him now as like this killer at the end of games.
Right.
Like, you know, like closer, right? That wasn't his personality at first. He had to overcome with a lot of hard work and like, you know, he grew into that.
It's easy to forget, but young Dirk Nowitzki was a physical marvel. A 7-foot unicorn with the fluidity and coordination of a wing.
Yeah, a lot more speed.
This is a giant man running pick and roll, spinning and hanging to kiss it off the glass. He could face up, fake that spin move into a twisting fadeaway.
Oh my God!
Straight up Michael Jordan
Mark Cuban is creaming his pants.
From Dirk, who was probably the first 7-footer to move with such fluidity while attacking the basket.
I'm telling you, he was the archetype. He was the archetype too. Yeah, the hair. I love the hair.
Look, when he was young.
Also, a big thing was just European players in general. He was the first big European player to like be a superstar in the NBA. You know, you had people like Hakeem Olajuwon from Africa. You know, but Dirk Nowitzki, I appreciate. Yeah, he was the first European to win MVP. He was the first European superstar, which set the pace for a bunch of other European superstars to come out from. You know, Giannis, Jokic, Luka. You know, and international players in general. Like Embiid and stuff.
Often compared to Larry Bird because of his outside shooting, possibly the hair. But Bird was incredibly nimble for a 6'9" player, and Dirk was even sturdier and more comfortable with the ball on the perimeter.
That's crazy.
He's handling
Dirk or Garnett. Big debate.
Hesitates and then
I don't think in basketball thinks Garnett by a lot, but I probably would go Garnett. Not gonna lie to you. I'm very much good at, even though I love players, I'm very realistic about them. Like Dirk Nowitzki, favorite player of all time, him and Luka, but you know, I think Garnett's better.
Yet fancy ball handling wasn't a part of Dirk's game at all. He just protected it well enough to drive or set up his shot.
Yeah, man. Made it where you can't fucking block that shot when he put that fucking signature fadeaway, put that damn leg in the way.
Back, we saw Reggie Miller curl off screens and score in the paint. And even at his size, Dirk could fly off these with authority.
Ooh.
So he was
Dirk
enormous,
Nowitzki.
but he could also come off these screens and fire because he was one of the best shooters ever. In the early 2000s, he took about 5 threes per game, making them at a healthy 39%. But Nowitzki actually took fewer of these over the years as he shaped his game around his mid-range shooting. Some of this was just a blind spot of the era, bypassing threes for less valuable long twos. but a lot of it was Dirk operating in his sweet spot where he could shoot right over just about anyone with an efficient attempt. Since mid-range shooting has been recorded, Nowitzki is the king of the long two.
Hell yeah, man. Yeah, he's been fucking killing these long twos. The thing about this is, though, Dirk, as the game progressed and certainly people shooting more threes, he began shooting more threes. Actually, his last season, his 21st season in the NBA, is when he shot his highest percentage of shot from three. He obviously didn't shoot as much three because he wasn't shooting as many shots, but like the biggest percentage of his shots were threes compared to any other season. Same with Kobe too. They both realized how the game was changing. 2016 Kobe shot more threes in comparison to all the other shots he took than any other season. Same with 2019 Dirk. So they both realized how the game was changing. So if they would have played today, both of them, you could see just by the numbers, they would have been taking way more threes, especially Dirk.
9% ahead of the league on over 8
Dirk Nowitzki would be a perfect player for today's NBA. You know, a 7-footer who can shoot from anywhere. You know, great free throw shooter. Yeah,
every 30
can handle the ball a little bit. You know,
minutes.
100%.
That was a nice improvement from an already strong first half of the decade. And he hit even higher percentages late in his career on slightly less volume.
Yeah. Well,
that outside shooting was the foundation of his entire game, because back then this was efficient half-court offense on demand.
Mavs Lakers rivalry
and high release point.
The Mavs almost traded for Kobe, by the way. It's true. When Kobe Bryant requested a trade, I saw it's a Mark Cuban interview where he talks about it. But Kobe Bryant requested a trade from the Lakers, like in 2006, 2007. One of the locations that he almost went to was the Mavs. And Mark Cuban had like told this to Dirk Nowitzki, and Dirk was like, "Well, I'm not gonna lie, I trade me for Kobe too." But then Mark Cuban was like, "No, Dirk. The whole point is I want to get you and Dirk. There's no point in getting Kobe if I have to trade you." Which like facts, but like yeah. And we didn't have enough assets to get Kobe though. It wasn't gonna happen. We didn't have enough assets. The only big asset we had was Dirk, and we didn't want to trade Dirk, which like makes sense. And it worked out for both of us. You know, both the Lakers and the Mavs. We both got championships, so. I think it worked out for both teams, both sides.
Him to bother that shot. He'd go to
also nearly got Shaq, but once again we didn't have enough assets. We nearly got him in like 2004 when he was traded from the Lakers as well. But once again we didn't have enough assets other than Dirk, and we weren't going to trade Dirk for Shaq, especially when he was getting older. So yeah, Dirk and Shaq that would have been a nice combo too. Ooh, going at I like how he's showing him going against all these other great power forwards. Have this Clipper Garnett, then Duncan. 2000s was by far the best era of power forwards ever. I mean, Duncan, Garnett, and Dirk. Even guys like Weber, and you know, fucking all those other great power forwards in this time.
Crowding him to bother that shot.
Karl Malone in the early 2000s.
For a blow-by.
Look at that.
The next time they run the same play, Tim Duncan isn't quite as close to stop the drive. So Dirk pops one right over.
That's too much space for Dirk, man.
You'll see this sequence constantly with Nowitzki. In 2011,
Pau Gasol
room to shoot over Pau Gasol, and a few minutes later, Pau
the European player
him to take away that shot, which opens room to drive, and then the incredible touch
man.
on the hook.
He's got incredible touch. Guys like Jokic and Dirk always just have incredible touch. Like where it just feels like every shot just somehow goes in the basket, just the way they do it. I don't know how.
About a big quickness edge. It was about teasing defenders with that shot and then having the coordination to bring it home. I love this sequence from the 2002 playoffs where Kevin Garnett studies him as he mesmerizes Rasho Nesterovic with a series of fakes before launching, only to come back in the second.
Look at that man in a microwave
against Garnett.
Big ass, you know, fucking really good defender.
He reacts to a possible shot and drives instead for the
all-time offense being all-time great defense there.
Weber, Dirk uses the shot.
Another great power forward, yeah, Chris Webber.
Throws from about 17 feet away, and he killed defenders with this.
Amari Stoudemire too. Yeah, so many great power forwards and centers. Many power forwards. Look at that, though.
Penetrators like Dwayne Wade or Mike.
Yeah, really good. I hate to say it, but Dirk Nowitzki was a really good foul merchant sometimes, you know. But, you know, it worked out in his favor, you know. Hey, you got to do what you got to do.
Jordan shot a ton of freebies because they were
Dwayne Wade was an even bigger one,
to
2006.
stay in front of and exploded at the rim. But Dirk matched their free throw volume with his shot because opponents were so afraid of it. They were
Hell yeah, man.
lunging at him.
They were so afraid. It was like the Steph Curry 3 of the 2000s. People would rather take an open layup than a Dirk Nowitzki mid-range.
So even without a heavy driving game, Dirk was one of the most prolific foul drawers in playoff history. And at 90%, that meant nearly automatic points. We saw something similar in episode 2.
2000 is my favorite era in NBA history. Might be.
More free throws than Reggie, probably because he could also bang around the basket with his size.
Yeah, it's a double trouble in the free throw department there, because he can go into the paint, get into the paint, and obviously you score in the paint, you're going to get fouled more. But also his shot just caused him to get fouled for it because people were scared of that. So he had two gigantic ways of getting fouled a lot, and he was a fantastic free throw shooter.
This is where that fluid movement really helped, because his defender is pulled out by his shot, and he could drive at him like an under control wing.
The spin.
Because he was under
control, the combination of the center guard powers.
Shoulder from like anywhere, and that messed with defenders' heads too, freeing up little openings that are hard to see in real time. Sean Marion thinks Dirk is spinning.
Another great defender, that Sean Marion. Future Dallas Maverick. I feel like I can shut the hell out of LeBron James with that zone defense.
And that little lunge turns it into an open layup. The same thing happened in his legendary Game 7 against San Antonio in 2006.
Yeah.
Bruce Bowen thought Dirk would spin into a jumper.
I'm going over this in my new original content video, so be prepared for that.
He throws it.
It's over an hour-long original content video. It's nuts.
Hands up to contest, and Dirk keeps going and sends the game to OT with a three-point play. And then again, 5 years later in Game 2 of the finals, tied at 93 in the final seconds, Dirk went to the same spin hesitation.
Hell yeah. Let's go. Tying the series 2-2 with this epic layup.
To steal the game. And it works because Bosch is ready to contest the shot, and that throws him out of position, and Dirk's size and skill do the rest. Nowitzki's always had a post-up game.
Like an amazing moment.
He could pivot into that high release point. And this is
a
really
high-ass release point.
Back down in spin in 2003 against the Spurs. But his post-game wasn't quite as robust in the early 2000s as it would be later. Even though his shooting gradually improved, he always had that ridiculous shot-making right over opponents. But he didn't always have the balance.
It's because the fucking shot release is so high. And it's like a slow shot, too, which a lot of times cannot help you, especially if you're a smaller guard. For a guy but for a guy that's so big like Dirk, you know, you have to really jump to contest the shot. And, you know, because it's so fucking late, once you've jumped, bro, you damn near are going down by the point it comes out of his fucking hands. Once you've jumped, you're almost like damn near reach your peak of going down by the time it comes out of this fucker's hands.
Sturdiness.
And if you're not, it's just too high for you.
Some of these moves.
Look at that.
He backs down the
Yao Ming.
Marion here, but is thrown off by turning into the contact.
Damn, 3 players on him.
In the mid-2000s, he developed a reputation for failing to
I know that ain't got Nash on him.
Smaller defenders in the postseason. Against Steve Nash here, he's not entirely in control, and this is a really difficult shot. But by the end of the decade, he was more deliberate about punishing switches in these situations.
Dirk
was never quick enough to blow by
much seen improvement.
Defenders, but he tightened his ball handling a little bit and added more to that post game.
The up and under
to improve his lower body strength, so he could back down smaller defenders and dictate the move he was going to give them. Look at how sturdy these actions are: backing down a bigger defender, going to the up fake, and then falling back away. And he's
my goodness,
balanced and in control the entire time. On the next trip, he has a smaller defender on him, works right to his sweet spot, and goes to the same move. That strength shows up on drives, too, where he can just power through contact for a dunk and back down bigger opponents.
Dirk Nowitzki dunks like that, they don't happen often, but when they do, they're magical.
Fade away. It's almost as if slowing down with age helped the game slow down for Dirk, especially in these high-pressure situations.
Yeah, he was much better in half-court settings. slow half-court settings.
Synergy tracking,
just slowly breaking them down.
2000s to 2011, Dirk nearly doubled his post-up frequency while peaking in efficiency.
Oh my god! Yeah, the efficiency is so nuts.
He developed his one-legged fadeaway.
Hell yeah, baby!
Unguardable signature moves in NBA history.
Up there with the Kareem skyhook.
Holger apparently wanted him to develop a hook shot, but the one-legger was a natural extension of Dirk's two-legged fall-away that he'd had for so many years. Only this version could have a quicker release, and he increased his body angle on that fade to make it harder to contest.
If Wembanyama gets a shot like this, it's over for the NBA. It's just over. Just cut out the league, bro.
Additional space. It keeps Lamar Odom at bay here while releasing the ball over that leg.
You can't fucking block the shot, man. His fucking leg's on the way.
Off-balance shots. That extra lean was almost natural for him. So natural that I actually found a random one-legger way back in 2001. He formally developed it years later with that improved strength and stability because he could take contact and stay balanced comfortably on one leg. He didn't actually
really got to be balanced.
But it was a key addition to his improved post-game over these years. For instance, he's cut off nicely here, but can pivot into this.
The ball handling from Dirk is really the underrated thing. Really helped him a lot.
Dirk was already
as you said earlier,
a playoff scorer in the early part of his career, but his improvements turned him into one of the best ever. With a of 20.
See, people talking about him being a playoff choker during this time, other than 2011. But like, bro, look at this, one of the best playoff scores ever.
9 points per 75 on efficiency 9.
Don't slander my man German Jesus like that, man.
So we know Dirk was one of the great shooters and scorers the league has ever seen, but how much did that scoring actually help his teammates? And if he didn't run through 1,000 screens like Steph Curry, was there another way he could help his teammates without racking up any assists?
Here we go.
Hi, Mark Barnett.
Trying to figure out how you're going to deal with him in the post if he goes in there.
Ricardo, baby.
Finding the transition. All those things. You know, when he sets a screen, it's like a double screen on your guys because you got to hug him.
In the last episode, we saw the incredible power of Steve Nash's playmaking.
Hell yeah.
Which was a theme during the first season of Greatest Peaks with offensive engines like Michael Jordan and Magic Johnson.
Yeah, playmaking is
an elite passer
one of the most insane, one of the most important things that people a lot of times overlook.
Who pressured defenses. Now, one of the reasons his assists were low was he could bypass teammates to shoot into double teams. And with his release point, these doubles didn't bother him as much. So it's not terrible to ignore shooters up top or in the corner if these are still high percentage shots. But a bigger reason for low assists is that he wouldn't anticipate passing openings on plays like this. Here's another example where he doesn't see this opening in time, but then San Antonio ends up sending a double, which creates late clock offense for a teammate. Dirk was always a pretty willing passer, especially against the double-teaming defender.
Yeah, but Evan wasn't a selfish player.
Chris Paul comes over to help, so he shoots it to a wide-open Jason Kidd.
Hell yeah.
This time he drives to set up that up-fake move, runs right into Kobe Bryant, and Kidd is in his sight line, so he punishes the help.
Ooh, look at that pass.
These are solid but reactionary plays. Duncan doubles, so Dirk looks for Duncan's man with a great delivery over the top. Some of his best
these are fantastic passes,
actually these jump passes where a cutter runs into his line of sight on the shot. So on a play like this, he sees Shaq stepping up to help and slips it to his man.
Nice.
What he almost never did in these
really good at seeing
was
that.
Manipulate the defense. The double comes. Now this defender needs to worry about the shooter or cutter, and Dirk sees that he takes the cutter, so a basic kick out is the fallback option. We saw this one earlier.
Makes
where
sense.
Tyson Chandler is going to flash
IQ there.
But the more basic play still leads to good offense. And I'm not sure I've ever seen him throw a lob pass to a vertical mismatch under the hoop in these spots. But even without advanced passing connections, his secondary reads, like a nice skip pass, still led to high percentage look.
Okay, so yeah, so he's not basically the most creative, like, all-time passer, but he made good plays, you know, made plays that made sense, simple plays that still worked out for good offense, you know. You don't need to have the most insane passes. I mean, if one of the most insane scorers, doesn't have to be the most insane passer as well, you know.
Score, then quickly slips a pass in, and that was tough to handle, but I love the idea. Although Dirk wasn't always crisp in his execution on some of his passes. The placement could be a little off, or the delivery could be a little slow. Like on this after timeout play where he's looking.
Yeah, Dirk wasn't the best power player. Didn't do anything that fast.
Chandler lob, and the pass is way too low, and it's deflected for a harder shot. So Dirk's on-ball playmaking helped his teammates a little bit, but he wasn't a volume playmaker with the ball who generated a layup line for his teammates. What Dirk did have was a presence away from the ball.
Yeah, gravity right there.
Easier for others.
That Steph Curry effect, baby.
This was most notable as a screener, where his defender wanted to step.
Yeah, that's how you make up a lot of playmaking, because his fucking, once again, his mid-range shot was like a Steph Curry three-point shot. People would try to stop it at all cost. You know, fucking put every fucking player on this guy to make sure this guy does not shoot up fucking mid-range. Okay. So yeah, and that creates open shots for all the teammates, you know, because when everyone's trying to focus on Dirk, they're not focusing on all the other four guys on the court, you know. Yeah, especially because the Mavs really try to surround him with shooters a lot of the time. So yeah, I mean, 100% playmaking right here.
But
that's
also
playmaking.
Didn't want to leave Dirk open to shoot.
Once again, playmaking is not just assist. It definitely is not just assist.
From the outside, and
a lot more to playmaking than that.
Plays like this, where the ball handler ends up with a red carpet to the basket.
Yeah.
Here's one where Ibaka just velcros himself to Dirk. A third defender needs to help, and I think it was a little breezy in the arena there. Sometimes the fear of Nowitzki's pick and pop shooting could pull a defender right out of the way.
Yeah, bro. He's literally going for the damn layup, and he was like, okay, this guy has a wide open layup, but I gotta make sure he doesn't give it to Dirk for a fucking mid-range.
Close the window, please. This kind of gravitational pull on close the window, please. Could pull a defender right out of the way, and someone close the window, please. This kind of gravitational pull on defenders was...
Dude, I wish we got Luka and Dirk. I mean, they played on the same season in Luka's rookie season and Dirk's last season, but bro.
Present early in
Imagine.
the decade. Relieving
Imagine Luka and
for
Dirk.
his guards to attack off his screens. They run him off a pick here first, and Garnett prioritizes Dirk over the ball, so Nick Van Exel ends up with an opening. With big men clinging to Nowitzki on
Everyone's
the
trying to get him
outside,
at all costs.
Shot blocker
What do we do? We cannot leave Dirk open.
The paint, so pulling that big body out of the lane gave his teammates more space to drive into.
Yeah.
Dirk usually played on
Can't get help if he's out there fucking bringing everyone outside of the paint, you know?
On teams with good spacing, where the paint wasn't completely clogged up.
And that's really useful when you're a center. Well, you're a big man, you're a power forward, because it brings out the big defenders out of the paint. You know, it's like Steph Curry, he'll bring like a bunch of the perimeter guys out the paint, you know, everyone out the paint to stop his three-point shot. But like Dirk, because he's so big, you need a big defender on him. So you take a big man out of the paint, which actually makes the paint a lot easier to score in the paint then, because you take a big defender out of the paint, you know. So the defenders in the paint are, you know,
responsible for
you get what I'm saying, right?
By drawing defenders away from the basket. Remember, teams were worried about his outside shooting proficiency.
Yeah.
So instead of the big man running back to the rim here, he finds Dirk and sticks to him while Dallas practices a layup drill. The benefits of stretch big men and spacing became commonplace across the league years later.
Stojakovic.
Back in 2011, this was still a futuristic pick and roll setup. Here's a wing.
Yeah, we were a super advanced team with the shooting. All the shooting that we put, spacing.
And Dirk's man is reluctant to leave him uncovered.
So was the Orlando Magic in this time, with Dwight Howard at 4 shooters.
But it's a kind of
stretch 4
value that gave Dallas more breathing room than most offenses. We can see just how much Dirk's gravity and solid passing decisions helped his teammates by looking at their scoring numbers with him off versus on the floor.
Jason Terry, yeah.
Most of the other primary match,
yeah, even Nash.
Far more efficient when he was on the court.
The gravity is crazy.
Can have
Hell yeah.
Effects on every possession. And just like Nash
AJ Barea shut down LeBron
in two-man actions, Dirk helped his guards. He didn't spike the team's shot quality quite as much as Nash, but this is a pretty incredible track
But he
record
scored a lot better than
over
Nash.
the course of a
So,
decade.
yeah.
Dirk's off-ball game paired perfectly with dynamic guards because he was so good at capitalizing on these actions when the ball hit him. Teams were worried about that shot, so he'd attack a recovering defender off the dribble instead. And he had a great feel for punishing
Off the dribble is nuts.
by taking it all the way to the rim, or he could catch and go right into a pull-up from the mid-range.
Oh my goodness.
This is yet another area where the threat of his shot unlocked an extra way to attack opponents. And he was great at driving as he caught it too quickly.
It's like the Bill Russell quote: "The goal is not to the goal of defense is not to block every shot. It's to make your opponent think you can block every shot." It's the same thing, but for offense here with Dirk. The goal is not to not make every fucking mid range. It's to think your opponent make your opponent think you're gonna make every mid range, which he very much did. He made their opponent think he was gonna make every fucking shot he took.
An advantage into something even better. Those skills fit next to so many ball handlers. A shooter like Terry draws defenders, so he kicks to Dirk for the jumper. But a great passer like Kidd can feed him in his sweet spots, and then when help comes, reset so Dirk can catch off the drive for a big layup. This one puts it all together, where Nowitzki and Kidd play a two-man game of hot potato. That starts to strain the defense, and when they worry about Dirk, Kidd can take it into a drive and use his passing to find someone else.
Yeah. Fucking doing everything there. The spacing is just so nuts. Dirk Nowitzki is really useful for an all-time team. If you're making an all-time team of players, really good for your spacing.
The key to this is how quickly Nowitzki attacks off ball.
Because he is the greatest big man shooter of all time, 100%, no debate.
He's slower in isolation, working to draw help and create this advantage. But when it comes back to him, it's a fast attack off one or two dribbles, gets to a sweet spot, and finishes.
He's just such a satisfying player to watch, man. It's actually so crazy.
Was to take one dribble and pass on the move. And he clearly developed the intention to act quickly and decisively, attacking closeouts in catch-and-go situations. He didn't do it a ton because he was such a big scorer, but I think his best passes came in these off-ball spots where he goes right into the move, and then if he sees extra bodies, he knows there's a pass available. Here's a nice example where LA sends extra defenders, so he quickly looks cross-court for the opening, and that's a great skip. And this translates to his version of short roll passing with a dribble and change of sides to find the shooter. When we look at multi-year stretches of playoff performance, Dirk was part of a very good Dallas offense at the beginning of the decade with Steve Nash. Although they were
if both of them were in their prime, bro, you would have been the greatest offensive duo of all time.
Really good in the 400 minutes, Nowitzki was off the court.
Well, yeah, because Nash is there.
That was an offensively heavy team that took out a loaded Kings squad in 2003 to make the Western Finals.
Dirk got hurt.
Play San Antonio to a near draw when Dirk was on the floor before he went down with an injury in Game 3.
Yeah.
After Nash went to Phoenix,
Dirk, unfortunately, he did have some injury problems throughout his whole career.
Defenders around Dirk. And from 2006 to 2008,
you can argue Dirk damn near got 3 championships. Obviously 2011, but also 2003, they were going toe-to-toe with the Spurs, and he got hurt. In 2006, got cheated by the refs.
Those offenses weren't quite as good, but the drop-off when Dirk went to the bench
that's crazy.
Far more significant.
That's crazy.
That team of Jason Terry and slashers like Josh Howard.
Yeah, just built specifically for Dirk. That team.
Actually outscoring Miami with Dirk on the court and losing all 3 close games in the series by just a combined 6 points.
That's so
Finally,
crazy.
From 2009 to 2011,
actually so crazy.
Offenses jumped back up while relying even more on Nowitzki's presence to warp the court. That was the most complete offensive version of Dirk, so defenders like Tyson Chandler and Sean Marion could fit next to shooters, while a trio of guards benefited from Dirk's pick-and-pop gravity. And I think a reason he had so much offensive success for such a long time is because he was so valuable without the ball. Almost like a post-oriented version of Reggie Miller, who made the game easier for so many teammates.
Fuck yeah, man. So can fit with so many players.
All that scoring, shooting, and perimeter gravity made Dirk Nowitzki one of the greatest offensive players to ever play.
Fuck yeah, he was.
Support this channel. Check out.
All right, yeah, go support Thinking Basketball on YouTube, maybe Patreon if you got money. Yeah, fantastic video. Yeah, Dirk Nowitzki, where would you rank him on all-time offensive players, all-time power forwards, all that? What do you think of his 2011 championship run? Do you think it's the greatest championship run of all time? I do. And yeah, so the next one I think is Manu Ginobili, the next one he did. So yeah, we'll be doing that next. So yeah, subscribe to my original NBA content to get weekly original NBA content. I upload daily NBA reactions also here, other than the days when I upload original NBA content. You only get one NBA video a day from me, my bad. Yeah, that's still pretty damn good, I would say. But yeah, yeah, bye.